Surf's up. It's Mauisnake here for SkinClub, and we're going to be looking at a JamYoung demo. This guy's been on the tip of everybody's tongue, given what he just accomplished at FISSURE Playground #1, winning the MVP, 1.40 rating. He's putting up donk numbers. He's putting up Zywoo numbers at a tier 1.5 event, beating Astralis in the grand final. I am going to be looking at one of his grand final maps versus Astralis. I've already looked at this demo. It's filled with great stuff. I like that he plays a different position than a lot of star riflers. He plays ramp, in fact, and I'm going to be giving some insight because I actually used to play ramp, okay? Obviously, it's been 6 years since I was really playing at a high competitive level. Now I'm playing an ESEA main, if people were not aware of that. But yeah, I'm going to be looking at JamYoung and how he was able to stomp Astralis. This is in, I think it was map 3 of the grand finals. Every single map that JamYoung had in this grand finals that they won, every map they won, he got over 100 ADR, including this one right here. Notice that he sets to the left so that his A players can get up the ladder quicker than him. You don't need to take the best spawn if you're the ramp guy. You don't need to block your A players. Let that be a lesson to all ramp players for the future. And he's just kind of dancing between these positions. He's looking for some kind of fights. You know, obviously he's working with the comms of his team. And this is where you're already going to see the mechanics on display for JamYoung here. Immediate death for the two Astralis players that he first meets. And team's able to get a quick win there. And yeah, looking at this one, I mean, I think the main aspects to it is that JamYoung actually plays a little bit within the system. I mean, there's clearly something going on here system-wide, but I mean, his individual ability is pretty damn obvious. Like the feeling I'm getting from him in some of these positions is just the cleanness, like how smoothly he moves. It feels so buttery. Watch how he moves on and off this. He makes noise right here, unfortunately. And then he just kind of hightails into the box. But look at how cleanly he moves around this single piece of cover. I love players that can handle this. Onslaught of T's coming, and he just stays so composed. Commits to the third spray right there. But look at this. He's got a rotating Mercury coming in from lower B. Goes for that single peek as there's a flash because he thought that was probably a nade. But then as he knows that there's really no pressure, even as Stown gets that close, he still waits for Mercury to get the next contact to keep the guns alive. Never too panicked in the situation, and able to already start the game with, in 2 rounds, 4 kills. Yeah. I think by the end of this one, he ends with 21 kills. He has a couple really nice rounds, and I really think that was one of them. So this is just against pistols right here. Throws the smoke immediately. Throws the smoke pretty often. I kind of figure that a player of his caliber would probably not use it as often as he does. But with his team wanting to go for as many aggressive plays as they do in other parts of the map, you do want to make sure that you block your side effectively. And I love that he likes this position here. I think that this is the single strongest spot if you're a ramp anchor to just lock it down. This top box, it's such a good off angle if people are peeking into you. Like, you'll see people as they peek up, and then if you're jiggling like that, they're usually aiming headshot level right here. But if you're on top of the box, it's just such a crazy high off angle. And usually you're going to catch someone, especially if you're jiggling like him, who's just going to be clearing, and then boom, you just get swung on by that. I love that position. It's a spot that I've been using for a very long time. And you'll see JamYoung likes that one. Along with behind these boxes, I feel like this is become more into the meta. It feels like I'm a little bit surprised that behind the big box, behind red box, is as commonplace for ramp players as it is now, because I feel like you're pretty much locked in. But if you have a guy that can rotate relatively soon like G, then it actually provides a lot of safety. You can assemble a crossfire. G with the good smoke as he's rotating in off of this box to block off this angle, and you can see Astralis, they're just stuck right here. JamYoung's very aware that somebody could be coming in from the lower bomb site as he catches Stare on a timing. Stare even hits a shot, but yeah, both of these guys are in perfect position to just clean up on this one. I think this is now an aggressive play for JamYoung towards outside. He throws a kind of a glaive combo, smoke towards middle, box, flash nade, just dumps all of his utility to try to get space early on. And unfortunately, you're going to see right here, he gets caught in the smoke, just bumps against that player, and then he just has to back up and he dies. So that's one of the few bad rounds for him, just being sent on a mission with a good spawn, and then Astralis are able to win a round. But that's what you do. When you have 3 rounds in your back pocket, you go for something a little bit off, just so that you can try to catch the opposing team off guard. Drop the AK from his surviving teammate, and then just moves right back to ramp. Yeah. Immediate smoke once again. Jumps down. Doesn't fully peek it until the smoke has bloomed. You don't want to give up an easy pick there. Kind of hangs around the smoke in case anybody gets frisky with it. You can see that he has a molly ready. So he mollies. This area just provides so much more pressure onto the position. Breaks the smoke as well. Dances with that fight. So you can isolate a duel potentially if the molly goes down, you break the smoke, you get an isolated duel. Kind of a cool solo play. I'm just going to say it's just a cool solo play that can catch somebody off guard. Like they're going to be like, I'm mollied off. You know, they back up to ramp and everything like that. And this to me is a very lucky round from JamYoung. He rotates back in to locker room here. Stown has already slotted himself deep towards outside. Nice lurk position. And JamYoung, he just jiggles between these two angles over and over again. You can see that he crouches into the second one as he peeks. You know, doesn't want to give an easy fight. And then he almost gets, like, this is almost lucky. Like, he technically sees him right. I think he almost could have, no. He definitely didn't. The first time I watched that, I thought he was able to maybe see his back. But no, at this point, he has no idea, actually. And his teammate does get caught. And this one is pretty nasty. Catches down with a nade in hand, takes him down right when he lands, gets the second kill, and then he just tucks. Yabi is sort of in a frenzy here, and JamYoung, good timing, was able to hear him running on the floor. In fact, I'll turn the volume up a little bit for you guys, actually. Here, we'll turn that up. Maybe, actually, that looks a little too loud. All right. So, yeah, that should be good. All right, smokes it once again. Moves over to the ramp position. He really likes just making sure that nobody's running through his smoke immediately. Holding from back here. Again, very committed position, but one where you are barely exposed. So it's not that bad or anything. Breaks the glass, rotates down. They had a lot of information this round. The T's just ran straight across there. And along with Mosiah, I don't know. People say different stuff. They're crunching on perfect crossfire. Mosiah pushes forward. That's when JamYoung swings up top also. They just catch everybody off guard. Really nice 1-2 between them. Immediate smoke once again. Moves towards the ramp. Watching anchors is not always the most fun exercise, but this demo was really smooth from JamYoung, so I'm not really all too disappointed. Goes for a nade break. Doesn't quite break it all the way, and I feel like you kind of would hope that people have better lineups for these things, more consistent ones, but, you know, maybe he wants to catch them on the edge if they're half in the smoke, but this flash is great, okay? So he lines up in the back corner, aims at that little intersecting piece on the pole, and then he creates a perfect pop flash for himself that lands right there that would catch anybody that's pushing. You go right in the back right here, you aim right at this pillar right here, and he's rotating on in, and Device is already, you know, they know exactly where Device is, so JamYoung just goes for the kill here. But he'll use that flash once again, and it's a great way to set yourself up if you're by yourself and you want to just take a little peek into the trophy room area. Ramp is more fun, though, than other anchor positions. Like, back silo's got to be the most boring spot on this map. You're either just fully blind, eating a full exec on A, or you're just killing lurkers, or you're just out of the action entirely, and then you're wondering, why am I in the 2v5 and not playing the game with anybody else? At least ramp, you can dictate more of your fights, which is probably why it's more binary in terms of options. You're holding ramp, just waiting for your utility to expire. They should have an idea that there's a lot of outside presence. Throws the molly here, and then there's already a rotation towards lower, but they know. There's just been so much sound made by Astralis at this point that, yeah, they kill everybody. Tyloo were kind of on fire across a couple different people here. One of the more interesting smokes JamYoung throws out, just the self-smoke to block off Secret. Very conservative to do that when it's a 4 versus 1, but with the bomb down, why not? Yeah, so holding a crossfire between these two. G pushes up. Device is making tons of noise again. Like, Astralis made a lot of noise in this game, so a lot of the fights Tyloo were very, very certain about. Now they go for a bit of a double play with Mosiah and JamYoung. They go for a double flash into the ramp. There's even the smoke there, And unfortunately doesn't get the better of Stown as he pushes out the side right there. Yeah, so can't see anything. But yeah, they go for a smoke, a flash, and a nade. It's kind of a lot of utility. I feel like it's almost too obvious what's going on right there, but it seems like they just value the utility more than they value being secretive of what they are trying to pull off. Covert. Smoke again. Just holds the smoke. Slightly different angle, you know, but nah, he's still playing this spot out. You know, he's changing it up. Wants to nade it in just a second. Doesn't actually peek with it. Throws a molly this time to try to slow him down. I think that actually hits the smoke at the very end, and thankfully G rotates on in as JamYoung throws a flash. That flash looks bad. From my perspective, that was a bad flash. Like, throwing a flash this high in the air just doesn't really accomplish a whole lot, unless your player down here is just going to go for like a little peek. But yeah, I'm a little bit confused by that. And JamYoung, not really an A anchor, just decides to play Mustang for the entire round. Almost catches Hooksy out on a timing, but as soon as JamYoung looks away, they bop him right in the face. Thankfully, Mozia is actually able to catch him. You'll see this in just a second. JamYoung is about to turn here in a second because he's unsure if anybody's looking towards if anybody's coming towards heaven, and yeah, immediately just gets deleted. Thankfully, both players are lit and or not really looking for Mosiah, so JamYoung's death not in vain. If you're wondering what the butterfly knife for JamYoung is, this Aomine Daiki. That is a character from Kuroko no Basket. Kind of disappointed. You would think that JamYoung would have better taste in anime, but in reality, he likes trashy sports animes. But that's good, okay? Because all you learn from sports animes is that you should never give up. So never give up and trust in your teammates. Everybody has their own special attributes. So, you know what? I kind of like it when my star player just watches trashy shonen, because usually it'll just teach them to the power of perseverance, okay? That's really all I want my star gifted player to have, is just to persevere. People like Donk, you know, just watch the, you know, Naruto's, the One Pieces. Just keep never giving up, you know. Eventually you'll get One Piece. All right. JamYoung here loves doing this little jump peek here. You know, he goes to the right, tries to bop his head on the doorway, on the left, little jump spot. Very low risk in terms of these kinds of holds to just keep info for the team. Smoke once again. Just holds this position, full bell to utility. This time presses up a little bit more forward. I feel like he's getting a little antsy. When you're at 9-2, you know, you don't need to keep playing the same style that you have the entire time. You just feel a little bit more ready for it. And throws the molly towards the tail end of this. And, you know, once again sets himself up with the flash. It's in that corner. Same position that he aimed. I'll show it one more time, okay? Because we're in CS2 and we can rewind demos so quickly. I'll show the whole lineup again, just so that you can take this home with you. Okay. So, back corner to the right of the pillar. Aims at that little spot on the top right there. And then just goes for the full swing, because it's pretty much a perfectly timed pop flash if you pull your knife out. And now this time, I think they know that Device is down here, and instead of giving up a free 1v1, JamYoung actually plays this pretty well. Doesn't, you know, the plant's coming out, attacker calls that, JamYoung with the dunk, and this is probably a less disciplined peek if you're being really, really, you know, a stickler for those things. Like, you could have given up a free 1v1 to Device there, but when you're nading him and you don't want him to get off the site, like, you want to maintain info too. I think it's a good peek. I actually think it's a great peek. You know you're nading him, and you know you're dealing significant damage. Your fight's going to be pretty easy. He'll probably be slowed as well. Now, JamYoung, I think he got blocked on that smoke, okay? He wanted to throw a lurk door smoke, but instead he hit a teammate, and now they actually have no smoke at the door, and you can see that's really halts Tyloo. Like, they wanted to do a drop strat, and because JamYoung was blocked out of spawn, they're all just frozen now over here. They didn't really have the plan B necessary, and I think this is just going to be a late ramp hit. So yeah, they're peeking out the angles, hoping they're getting a free fight here or there, and then after a while, they're like, yeah, our initial strat is dead, so let's just try to make something happen. 3-man peeking ramp, and JamYoung unfortunately gets taken out. So I don't know. Is it JamYoung's fault? Is it the guy that pathed in front of him? It's probably both. But it doesn't, in the greater scheme of things, not of huge consequence. Hero AK is given to JamYoung. Astral set up for a play outside. JamYoung was... It's kind of weird. JamYoung was looking back. Like, he's playing anti-flash, and I almost feel like the way he was positioned didn't even feel like a true anti-flash. I don't even know how to say this. Like, it almost looked like he just kind of turned around, and by happenstance, then his teammates were... Then the flash came. I think it's partially anti-flash, partially being a little bit, like, you know, just chilling. He's being chilling out there. Okay, yeah. Now they're pushing towards lower. And this is a great round by Yabby. That's all I really have to say. Hooksy goes for the initial swing. JamYoung gets the trade. And, yeah, Yabby just hits the outright headshot on JamYoung. I don't think there was head armor, a helmet on JamYoung, which is a bit unfortunate. And now they take a timeout. Galil comes out. Just continuing to go for the buys. You know, you got 2 plants in a row. Why not? Hero AK once again goes to JamYoung. And he goes for the fight upstairs. Solo silo fight. Not even that much on the ground. You know, make sure that nobody crosses towards red at the very beginning. And then he's looking for timings for them to jump up. But look how silent he is. It's like Assassin's Creed. Okay? Dude is just moving and grooving, and he's just making his way back down. Not a sound. Not a sound. He didn't make a single sound. He's on the silo from the start, and then he's just peeking back and forth. You're going to see that because he knows he's in the back. Like, this is the wherewithal. This is the presence of mind to know, yes, like, you're probably going to go lobby, but you should still be the guy that's responsible for outside, okay? This isn't really... I doubt that anybody had to hold his hand and say, yeah, JamYoung, you still need to watch our flank there. Like, this is something that you either learn with repetitions by being punished like that, or just eventually you're like, you need to be thorough. Everybody needs to be thorough on the team. So, okay, play is being constructed now. You can see that there's still a lot of lobby presence for the T's here. JamYoung's making his way out. Single smoke to help him cross. Diagonal smoke is being assembled. And he's able to make his way wherever he wants. But look at this. This is so snappy. Flash towards Mini. Gets the kill. Doesn't get the second, but already a double entry on the round. So, yeah, just super snappy stuff. Obviously, he's set up by that. You know, the smoke's there. The flash into Mini. All of that is to assist him getting some space. But, yeah, it's really great to see that Tyloo are staging rounds as well as they have been. And they are as thorough as they are. Okay, so Mercury gets down with the cross smokes this time. Tyloo actually selling a bit of a fake here. You know, they get the single guy down, and this is a multi-staged round, okay? So JamYoung, again, holding the flank, you know. Mozia could get timing here, because Mozia is just right there in ramp room, in trophy room. So JamYoung holds all of that. They're going to smoke off mini garage, Molotov for credit card, just clearing everything out. Waiting for teammates to get a little bit closer, flash for the corner, and yeah, this is pretty procedural. This is pretty, you know, they're moving through all the stages very nicely. Like, sure, there's at times points where they can take 1v1s, they have untradeable positions, but at least they'll trap people into the spots that they initially find them. And yeah, JamYoung hears a lot. Gifted a kill from Hooksy, who's trying to reclaim some space, and you know, a little bit of individual playmaking from JamYoung as he's just making himself hard to read. Gets a kill in hell, comes back out the window to get a kill on the stair. It just feels rather unlikely. So this time around, though, JamYoung, he gets timing by Yabby here, but, you know, very thorough, just making sure, like, you don't know where he is at all. You have no clue where Yabby is. You got to just cover G for the majority of spots. You know, very quick timing peek towards the ladder. Probably one of the few win condition spots if Yabby was already up there. And he's able to close it out with the trade. So this time around, throws the molly for the top silo there. Kind of feigns an A-rush, but moves on in. Like, a lot of layers for this stuff, okay? You got cross smokes coming out. You got, I think that's Mercury going for a space-taking play towards outside. But they're mauling on top of the roof. They're getting on top of Mini. They have so much control in the first 15 seconds of the round. It's really difficult to play against here. Now Mercury with the spam is able to find Device, who's peeking around the smoke there. JamYoung holds on. You know, they're holding on to the 5v4 advantage. Mercury is the only one that's really taking space here. Mosiah gets pushed as Tyloo were waiting for some kind of return play, some kind of reactive play. And now, because of, I mean, they're taking a lot of space. Like, Mercury is already getting towards heaven, but they just want to group up, make their way towards secret. Stown gets one, and it gets a little crazy. I feel like Tai Lu are doing a couple too many things here, but the trades are overall pretty good. And the big risk taker mostly this round has been Mercury, but he's gaining so much ground, so much space, and it's tough. It's tough in these kinds of rounds. Like, they're pretty chaotic. And now they kind of keep Astralis in the dark. You know, they make their way towards ramp. Astralis are all the way on the other side. They don't know what's going on. Molly for control. At this point, JamYoung knows he has a good opportunity to plant on the side of Silo here. But, you know, they smoke the Molly, so he gets off the plant. Good movement to just kind of stay around these positions. And again, another tap comes out. Baits out Hooksy to push through there. And Mercury now has to close out the 1v1. Stare just calls the bluff. He thinks that he can open the door and that Mercury's gonna not bite, but then instead Mercury, it's just been like so good this tournament, and a 13-4 victory. So yeah, that's it. As we can see, I mean, a great game from JamYoung there. 112 ADR, only 2 enemies flashed, but great KDR, decent utility damage, 66% headshot percentage. You know, that's just, I mean, 14 of his kills are with headshots here. Really snappy stuff. Well, I mean, played well within the team. Couple push plays from the CT side to keep the T's honest for Tai Lu. Like, they were trying to, you know, throw some haymakers Astralis' way. But all in all, a really fun demo to watch in terms of just seeing how clean he is, how many ideas Tai Lu have, and also how controlled they are, which is not always what you really expect with Chinese Counter-Strike. But they just have the right amount of chaos to throw into what is otherwise a pretty solid system. So thank you guys. Thank you SkinClub for sponsoring the video. And congratulations JamYoung on winning the latest FISSURE tournament. So hope to see you guys next month. And as always, being toxic is a choice.